Hey Ninja Bunny Rabbits, this is another Nebbish game. I'm going to put this cute Control N thing to show us the players. Isn't that sweet? Nebbish versus Stkazi. Stkazi. Um, I would like to take this opportunity, I guess Nick told me that I should, to tell you guys I made a new channel, HalbyCoaching, and the reason I did that is because a lot of times I do these Nebbish games, and I do the Steve games, and I do the Alex games, and all that kind of stuff, where I do coaching. For Nick, it's just because it's fun and he's my friend, and for everyone else, it's because I'm paid. Where I just watch games and tell you guys what you did wrong and that kind of stuff, and what you did right, and that's always fun. And so I made a new channel because coaching videos are only fun to watch if you are the person being coached. Watching somebody else's game, if you're not trying to show a new awesome build, it just seems kind of pointless. Like Husky and Day9 do this a lot. They'll post a noob game, and it's really helpful for the noob that they're posting it for. But then people like me who don't really want to learn not to screw up on your SCV production and not to make the obvious mistakes that the noobs are making won't watch those games. And I always get a little bit mad when somebody posts something stupid to their channel that also has a bunch of fun things, because I don't want to filter through and figure out which things are stupid and which things are fun. I like it when the title of the video tells me, hey, this is another one of those, so I can just not watch it. Like StarCraft is really good about that. He posts his own games as Psy, and he posts, other, like when he watches someone else's game, he puts their name in the title instead of calling it Psy, and when he posts the campaign walkthroughs, he names them campaign walkthroughs, so I can watch only what I'm interested, which is him playing. So I've always tried to do that. I've named the games I watch of Nick's with Nick's name in the title, and Steve's games with Steve in the title, and all that kind of stuff. But Nick was saying some people like him are too lazy to read titles, so they just watch anything you post to your channel, and if any of it is crap, then they just unsubscribe from your channel. And the example he gave was Rhett and Link did a lot of really funny things, but then they did one series of many videos in a row that were a theme, and he didn't like that theme, so he unsubscribed from them altogether, even though they named it, with that theme in the title. And I'm like, well, wow, I didn't know some people were that stubborn, but I guess if they are, I should definitely not post coaching vids to my channel, because coaching vids aren't very fun to watch, honestly. I don't enjoy watching them. I enjoy doing them. That's fun, but watching them, I wouldn't watch these. So yeah, the new channel is HalbyCoaching, and don't go watch the stuff there. I encourage you to ignore it completely unless you are one of the people whose videos is up there. I'm going to link it to my channels just because you never know. Some people are really interested in everything in the universe, and if you're interested in everything in the universe, definitely go watch it. But for the majority of us, it won't be interesting. Don't be tempted to check it out. Just ignore it. Okay? Okay. And some of Nick's games are really good, and sometimes he plays against Masters League opponents, and it's good, and there's things we can learn from it, so I will keep posting some of those to my regular channel. But games like this, where I'm just telling him what he did wrong, I'm going to post these in the future to the new channel. So feel free to stop watching now. This is a coaching video. This is not for your entertainment. I probably should have said that 7 minutes ago, right? Anyway, so what's going on here is that Nick is getting dominated by something he should not at all be even threatened by. Now, he feels like he lost this game to the Void Ray push, but I feel like he lost this game because it's 7 minutes in and he has $1,000 spent on his army. And there's just no excuse for that. It's 7.5 minutes. It's almost 8 minutes, and the benchmark for 8 minutes is $2,000. It's not $1,000. That's just crazy. So as you can see, he's got $700 in the bank, and he's built a factory and a starport that haven't produced him anything except a Hellion, which again, I'm telling you, Nick, Hellions are utterly pointless. It's okay to make one to scout, but you only can afford to scout after the 9-minute mark. Protoss has this extremely annoying benefit thing where the warp-in technology gives them this giant advantage from as soon as it finishes, which tends to be around 6 minutes or 6:30. Let's look at yeah, he was already done with it at 6:30. So around 6 minutes, the Protoss's army will be bigger than yours. No matter how perfectly you are playing, his army will be bigger than yours. Not necessarily on this screen. It'll be bigger in dollar value. So he's got an $800 army, and Nick has a $625 value. So the Protoss's army is significantly larger than Nick's. And that's not because Nick sucks, that is because Protoss will always have a bigger army no matter what you do at the 6-minute mark. And he will continue to have a bigger army absolutely no matter what you do until the 9-minute mark. And then he'll probably still have a bigger army, but it'll be bigger by such a small margin that it won't matter really anymore. So you always need to play defensively in the early game, or you need to make units that are so good that despite your smaller army, you can still dominate the piss out of him. Or you need to attack before he finishes Warp Gate. So the strategy that me and Nick used to love to do was the combination of those second two, where we would attack before he gets Warp Gates and then use the contain that we set up then to tide us over during his Warp Gate boon, and then just continue to throw Marines, which are very good dollar for dollar against Protoss units, against that contain, and just keep the contain going forever. And that only works because Marines are exceptionally good against Protoss. You can't just contain with Marauders, that wouldn't work. You can't contain with Marauder Tank, that wouldn't work. You can't contain with Banshee Marauder Tank, that wouldn't work. Marines are the only unit that is so good that even though you have less of them than the Protoss, you can still contain them with them. So all early game Terran strategies should focus around the Marine. Marines are what you need in order to survive early Protoss attacks and put counter pressure back on the Protoss. It's obviously important to get one Marauder with concussive shells, and then because you have this tech lab, it's usually better to make Marauders than Marines out of this Rax. So if you accept my premise that you need to focus on Marines, what that means is that this Rax needs to constantly produce Marines every second of the game. You never should have a single second after the reactor core finishes where you are not producing 2 Marines, because Marines are the thing that's gonna let you survive until 9 minutes. Marines are your best unit in the early game. They start to suck later on, I'll grant you that. But you need them to survive Void Ray pushes. Like, look at... I've had this thing selected for a long time. Look at... It has not been making Marines at all. That's like 6 Marines that it could have made in the time that it was just not doing anything for all that time. So when I see Starport, like you did, I always start producing Marines out of both of these, so 3 Marines at a time, and throw down this Starport like you did. This game is already over just because of all that time that this Rax was idle. This isn't one of those games where it was a panic game, right? Like, so we already know you lost because you missed the army spending benchmark by like $800, which is you had like 50% of the army size that you needed. But why did you have 50% of the army size you needed? Was it because you did a build that is not viable? No, you did a great build. This is the right build to be doing. The problem wasn't your build. The problem was that you didn't build enough Marines. So when did this reactor core finish, and how many Marines could you theoretically have built if you had kept Marine production up from the second it finished until the attack? So the attack happened at 7:30, right? And this finished at 5:45, and each Marine takes 25 seconds. So 50 seconds, let's see. 5:45 gives us one Marine at 6:10, another Marine at 6:30. So, dude, I am not good at this. I mean, I would be good at it if I wasn't recording, so let me pause for a second.